Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are now live. I am truly sorry for the delay of a good few minutes, but we've had issues with camera that need some adjusting. So if you'll give me one moment, I will just quickly make sure I am in the mode on YouTube to make sure everything is fine. And tab out of anything that could make beeps or noises because we are on PC today and we are playing The Pale Beyond, which is a game that I had the pleasure to play the beta of in March of last year, and it still holds up really well. In fact, this is one of my most watched videos concurrently, month by month, because people just always come back to it. And with the game's release, that demo is getting quite a lot of views, so let's give them an actual series to watch, shall we? Now, I'll just make sure that everything is going fine one last time. You can see that the game pauses when I tab out. It's a little bit of a minor gripe, but it's not all too bad. As always, if there are any issues with audio, microphone quality, anything at all, please let me know. This is a game that's expected to take about 7 to 10 hours on average for a completion of a run, so I want to say we'll get about halfway through, hopefully, and then maybe I can pick up the second half on, say, Thursday afternoon around this time. With all that said, if you will just give me one quick moment to finalize everything, we will get started. I'm just making sure that everyone is aware that the stream is up, especially with that delay, so I am very sorry for the brief moment of silence as I make sure everything goes through. That should be good. Let's begin, shall we? So, I have this previously from my beta test. We are not going to be doing that. Is there, how do I begin a new one? Settings. No, definitely not settings. Start a new expedition. Okay, we're in. Oh, the airs be cold. Oh yeah, and I did voice acting for everyone. I'm gonna try doing that again, but no guarantee that it'll all turn out smoothly. Because I will likely forget something or somewhere along the way. And there were just a bunch of characters. Let's be blunt. There were just a ton of characters. So if I start mixing them up or if I forget, I apologize. Or the ales be cold. Of flake and white, as a sailor begs their pledge. Out in the ice, they'll stake a claim and carve a course ahead. A homes they'll dream of warmth long lost, and chase to the frost world's edge. A hunger draws the desperate here. Such lonely souls need lead. What will you do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll lead these souls, so help the gods, out of the pale beyond. This is a game with, I think, they said over 300,000 words counted, so quite a lot. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. Glory to be had in the event of success. Address over leaf. You're alone in the office. The tea in your hand has long since gone cold. I'd rather coffee. Looking around the room, you make out a collection of military books. On the desk is a ship in a bottle. A metronome ticks away steadily. Find it rather calming. The dedicated rhythm soothes the senses. It stops. Okay. Keep waiting. You hear footsteps climbing up the stairs that brought you here. Remain standing. The door behind you swings open. The captain bounds past you to the other side of the desk. You have all your teeth. Sorry, enough to get by. Open mouth. Enough to get by. Can never be too careful. Captain sits down. It's the little things you can lose people to. I've not had scurvy before, if that's what you're asking. I apologize also for any background noise. I have a rather rambunctious bunny, and it is raining on and off, so they cannot go outside. So, I apologize. There's more things to worry about than just scurvy. How many people have died under your supervision? None. More than I'd like to admit, I don't appreciate this line of questioning. You will, when you're on the ice. That's some nice animation. Individual, like 3 full animations for this. Without dialogue. I'm Captain Hunt. Pleasure's mine, Robin Shaw. He nods. On your desk, what ship is that? Ah, this. Detailed, isn't she? Incredibly. I don't get it. It's a bit pessimistic. Incredibly. An old sailor superstition. I hope you weren't waiting too long. It's fine. There's been a lot of candidates. Some good, some bad. Interesting mix. I'm sure you understand the need for discretion. Edward said there was glory to be had. It seems all a bit convoluted for a sailing job. I'm not in the habit of trumpeting my work to every would-be sailor on the street. I need to know if you're right for the job first. He looks down at his list of questions. Were you born a landlubber or a sea dog? So this is what kind of drew me in. Dash Frame, hello, how are you, my friend? I am doing well. I just started the Pale Beyond, which is now out. I played this demo and I really was keen to see the actual game when it released. And release it did, so we're just playing it right now for fun. It has a lot of these kinds of details that actually mean a lot. I remember this actually like being impactful in the demo. Were you a landlubber or a sea dog? From the city, the ocean, the same as yourself? Mixed. We'll be an ocean man. The ocean, same as yourself. Salt, born and bred. Military experience? Royal Admiralty, merchant. Sailed the merchant line, 10 years. Criminal. I went merchant in my demo run, so let's try Royal Admiralty. Been playing a ton of Metroid Prime ever since the original. Loving the Xenoblade content. Thank you very much. It's been very nice to play through a lot of it, and I truly enjoy playing through Xenoblade. I really wanted to get Metroid Prime Remastered, but I'm waiting for a physical. I cannot find them anywhere, I swear. So I'm just keeping an eye out for that. And of course I'll keep up with the Xenoblade content. But thank you. Royal Admiralty 2 tours. Under what circumstances did you leave? Honorably, in one piece desertion. Honorably. Also, let me know if there's any issues with volume or anything going on. Nishquick, how's it going, my man? It is going well. Just playing through this. You lucked out with a physical? Nice. I really wish I could have gotten a hold on one. I looked around all last weekend while I was picking up my Octopath copy. I just could not find it. Well, we've no stewards to wipe your ass out here. You best get used to doing that yourself. Have you ever fired a weapon? Yes. You ever killed a man? Directly or otherwise? Yes. I see. You're not married, are you? Of course not. You better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving him in the first place. Any less, and you'll be doing yourself a disservice. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. That didn't deter you, did it? It's to be expected, surely. There's no game volume, none at all. I know there's none right now. There's no volume right now other than the little clicks and clacks that you hear me like pressing. So there should be a scene soon where music does pick up. So if it does, we'll see what happens. From what I recall, this is a very ambient-driven game, which is why there's nothing going on at the moment. Nishquick, you're getting your copy on physical for Metroid Wednesday. Nice. It's honestly it's a standard for ports now. Like I thought the Nier Automata port for the Switch was a gold standard, and that is. And now Metroid Prime also adds to that in their remaster. It's to be expected, surely. I thought it blunt, but it's proven remarkable at weeding out the weak and the pretend. Let him continue. We're here to find the ship in that bottle. The Viscount. Or Viscount, sorry. You heard of it? No, enlighten me. This is thrown. 5 years ago, she set sail on a research expedition towards the Dead Peninsula. They were trying to find and study the absolute magnetic south. Just J, yes it is. It is very low on ambience. It picks up later on. For right now, though, we're in a room and tension's building, which is why you hear maybe a little bit right now. Most recent one has a lot of smoke to it for the Switch. Yeah, I've seen it because of the Pokemon, actually, that the Pokemon trailers that were announced today. They concurred with a potential new Switch model to be announced around the same time as the Wave 2 DLC for the Scarlet Violet. So, interesting if that holds up. I would be surprised, but I would also be keeping an eye out on that. Let's see. If they found it, I might have heard of them. Strange name for a ship. They can't all be named for dukes and princes. Viscount wasn't always hereditary. Was an earned title once. Admirals certainly loved their metaphors. Almost as much as their medals. Hunt, no offense. Anyway, the point is she never came back. The last known location was 200 miles south of land, and presumed lost to the ice. And we're supposed to be chasing this ship. Exactly! It's beginning to sound like a suicide mission. Their research is supposedly of extreme importance. Let him continue. Here's what we do know. Not one person or thing has been heard from the Viscount since it first left port. Until now? Until now. Someone was found who claims to have been on that ship. Where are they now? Dead. But their testimony seems to have outlived them. Those with more money than sense want that old ship. That's the job. If I don't pick the first mate, somebody else will, and, well, my judge of character's got me this far. I love the wink he does. Of our crew, not of our own ship, and who's financing all this? The usual, film and lecture rights have been sold, of course. We're in the process of signing off on a final benefactor for the expedition. They've even donated a ship. We'll be traveling on board the Temperance. She's a beauty. Greenwood. Generational. Not many like it left these days. The Viscount and the Temperance, well, they're sister ships. Built together. Sent out into this world to die alone. You seem to love metaphor yourself. Indeed. Perhaps that makes me a hypocrite. But I like to think one calls out for the other. Captain looks at the bottled ship. So, what do you think? It's not that much to go on. No, it isn't. Captain checks his watch. Anyway, I think I've heard enough. Captain stands up. We leave in a month. Welcome aboard, Shaw. Proverbially speaking. Don't you need more information? Not if I'm a captain worth his salt. I work with people, not professions. I'd sooner trust a good carpenter than a cruel sailor to save me from drowning. But alas, I'll see you on the Temperance. Captain makes his way to the door, and you follow. You arrive at the docks, a month to the day. Before you lies a ship. The letters on its side read Temperance. You walk the cobble to the boarding ramp. Beside it is a sharply dressed man, overseeing the load of cargo. Okay, this one I remember I did like a Severus Snape impression. He turns to you with a stern expression. You can feel his eyes assessing you. The military gate. You must be Hunt's pick for the first mate. I figured he'd keep it in the ranks. Good man. He extends an arm. Richard Templeton. A pleasure. Shakes hand. You accept his offer of a handshake. It's a considered shake. I shall be operating as the chief science officer on this expedition. I am also the incumbent representative of our benefactor. Do, however, consider myself and my team at you and the captain's disposal. Mr. Templeton, I look forward to working together. I expect you to be up for the task. Some of the layabouts Hunt hired are questionable, at best. No doubt I needn't inform you of your duties. You're second only to Captain Hunt himself. Though I must warn you that you have quite the task ahead. The rabble I've spent the afternoon sorting are the same that you'll have to whip into shape. Punctuality, schedule, strict adherence is what we need if this expedition is to succeed. I expect you to be the organized sort. You would not have been assigned to the role otherwise. I have more than enough experience with a crew of this nature. You speak like you're in charge. I put I'm a seaman with Royal Admiralty. I have more than enough experience. That is comforting to hear. It would seem for the most of the crew the captain favored personal history over expertise. It is good to know he found the capable sort for such a vital role. Let me know when you are ready to depart. I am certain you're eager to be back on the ocean. The less valuable time we waste here, the better. You'll be gone for quite a while. It'll be time before you see the city again. A young man stands at the ramp, steeling himself for the journey ahead. Hesitantly, he begins to drag his feet up the ramp and onto the ship. Hunt's description of the ship was accurate, near identical to the Viscount, barring some modern additions. Okay. I believe the audio is going to pick up right here for a little bit, so this will be a good opportunity to let me know if you hear everything perfectly well. Week 1. 1 week on the Temperance. It's gorgeous artwork as well. Even back in the demo, like just seeing this the first time, gorgeous. It's been a month. A hunger. Oh no, this is all the same one from the beginning. First Mate Shaw, personal log. It's been 1 month. 1 month. It's been 1 month since I signed on, and 1 week since we've set sail aboard the Temperance. I'm told the waters will get warmer as we pass the hemisphere, before they turn colder. Who's paying for this? Captain Hunt. The Admiralty had nothing like this. She's magnificent, a technical marvel. Elegant machinery expertly weaved through one of the fastest hardwood ships of its day. Reborn for this mission, breathing again with life. Simply magnificent. As for its master, he's mostly kept to his quarters so far. I need to know if I can trust Captain Hunt. He's not... I can't shake the feeling that he's not telling the whole truth. Audio's good, by the way? Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm always worried every time I swap between my audio from Switch settings to PC settings. I can't shake the feeling that he's not telling the whole truth. Despite that, I find myself warming to the man. There are now 22 of us, including the captain. Our next port will be our last before we enter the ice, to pick up the remaining 4 members of the crew, the scouting team. Hunt is also keen to work out a deal on a pack of sledding dogs. Crew are a strange lot, eclectic as the ship itself. But I can't help but wonder who's footing the bill for all of this. Certainly not the captain. Such exquisite modifications to the ship mustn't have been cheap. I intend to investigate further, but for now, signing off. One of Hunt's sailors approaches. Captain wants you at the helm. I'll head there now. He leaves. The Crow's Nest currently stands unoccupied. Scouting team are expected to join at the next port. The forecastle door appears to be locked. The door to Hunt's cabin is shut tight. There is going to be a time where I'm going to probably say something wrong. I apologize in advance. The captain himself busy at the helm. Join Hunt at the helm. You ascend the stairs to the stern and find the old captain manning the helm of the ship. Ah, Robin. Lovely day for it, isn't it? One of your lackeys summoned me. Don't you have a helmsman to do that for you? Of course I do, but it's good to keep the old skill sharp. Never know when you're gonna have to get your hands dirty. He thinks for a moment before stepping aside, stretching out a wrinkled hand. Did you ever take the helm in the Admiralty? Never felt right not doing it for me. Here, why don't you ever try? Take the wheel. You grip the wheel of the ship and feel the weight of the waves in your arms. Use the right mouse button to pan around. The memory in your muscles rear themselves as you begin to move in time with the ship and the wind. Easy. There, you have it. Captain pats you on the back. Fantastic. Now try and get a sense of where we are. Get some perspective. Use the middle to zoom. Peaceful, isn't it? Panning and zooming speeds can be adjusted in settings. Okay. Takes the wheel back from you. Think I'll drink the morning in a little longer. Would you mind preparing my quarters for the day's work? There's much to do. Tub. Pristine furnished tub secured to the floor. Luxury to be had on the ice. A classical painting depicting sailors doing battle with the Kraken. An ode to an old folk story of the great Captain Seamus's dance with the Salt Kings. On the desk you make out a variety of papers, notes, and maps, as well as a sealed letter with a stamp you don't recognize. The desk itself is suspended with ropes to keep it safely in place. Okay. Take requests. You take a seat at the end of the room. The captain joins you. Now, let's run through our provisions before taking requests. To start, there's 23 souls signed on to this expedition, ourselves included. That's 16 free to be assigned to tasks if they aren't already busy. The rest are deployed to their permanent stations. You're only able to deploy crew who you have discovered. They must be in good health and not otherwise deployed to another post. We'll be picking up the scouting crew at the next port. The lot of us also seem to be in good spirits. The expedition will end, tearing itself apart if you end the week with no decorum left. We've enough provisions for at least 6 months in case of emergency. If you cannot afford the minimum food rations at the end of the week, crew will become malnourished. Unless cured, malnourished status will develop into scurvy, a severe status effect that prevents crew from working and will eventually kill them at the end of the week. Jeez. And more than enough fuel to see us there and back again. Colder temperatures will increase the minimum fuel required at the end of a week. If you cannot afford that minimum fuel, the crew will become freezing. Unless cured, freezing will develop into frostbite, severe status that prevents the crew from working, eventually killing them at the end of the week. The sledding dogs, well, it's still a matter of negotiation. Dogs will be needed to send sledding teams out to gather resources on the ice. Sending hunts out further requires a greater amount of dogs. They will rest and become available between the weeks. Now, on to work. Corvid and Cordell. Sailor enters. We found a stowaway in the lower hold. Bring them in. Another sailor enters, leaving a young man by their side. You know, you're not the first stowaway I've had. Captain studies them further. You know where we're heading, don't you? I do, sir. The ice. Did you know that before you climbed inside that crate? I did, sir. Ha! How old are you? Hardly a useful pair of hands. Not true. I can pull my weight, sir. Ah. Do you know your jaboom from your bowsprit? I don't even know what those are. So, I do. Learn it all from me da. Your da. He's Ward's son. Followed him on board back in the city. What should we do with him, Captain? Well, Shaw. Hunt eyes you up. You're a first mate. What should we do with him? Keep him aboard, not staying on board. Your decision to make, not mine. I don't like this because he did just already say, like, I have a responsibility in this. I kept him on board on my demo, and I want to see if that will help in the long run, having an extra pair of hands. I know it might mean more to feed, though. I keep them aboard. Hunt squints. Why? The game just... Oh, never mind. Okay. I was already worried it froze or something. Need all the help you can get. Young man wants to help. Clearly here because his father is. It would be wrong to separate them again. We don't have time to accommodate this. If the boy wants to freeze to death, let him. The young man wants to help. I say we let him. Alright, boy. Consider yourself part of the crew. Be sure to keep your nose clean and follow orders. I will. Thank you, sir. Captain, not sir. Aye, Captain. Stowaway joins the two sailors below deck, now a member of the crew. Well, seems the lid has a new runt. Hope the rest won't mind sharing their rations. +1 crew and plus something else I saw. What of the father? Simple, split their pay and their rations. Any rations the boy takes should come from his. Yes, that works. Maybe we'll make a sailor in by the end of this. Well, that matter's sorted. Cordell. Have you agreed upon my conditions? I also can't, as it's well known and documented through my Xenoblade time, I cannot do female voices, so bear with me. To the point, eh? Shaw, this is Lady Cordell. Cordell here is to provide us with the kennel of hounds for the sleds. And our agreement was that she would train them up until we part ways at the nearest island, but... You neglected to inform me that we were bringing my dogs through the Pale Passage. I had no intention of sending the pack to its death. You seem to have good faith in this expedition. It's one thing to ask for my whole kennel. It's another to drag them into the ice to chase a myth. Never before has a buyer been so dishonest. And never before has a seller made such strong demands. And what exactly are these new demands? She demands we allow her to come along on the expedition, as a member of the crew. None on this ship have the experience and familiarity with these dogs that I possess. If you are taking them to such a brutal location, they will need me to guide them if they have any chance of survival. The humans on board too, of course. Of course. You can see my dilemma, Shaw. We just accepted a stowaway. Bringing on another member of the crew is a risk, but our hands may be tied. Your thoughts? I don't see the harm in having an expert on the sled dogs. Good point, Shaw. Turns to her. The deal's already to your benefit. Do you have anyone on board with extensive training in the management and ruling of dogs? Your sleds are useless if you can't control the dogs efficiently enough to hold them. And I would like to ensure my dogs are treated properly. Welcome aboard, Cordell. Your knowledge should prove valuable. I like being not respectful, but I've already built up a respectful, I guess sort of build, if you want to call it a build. And I just like playing respectful. I don't like being rude to people in most games, unless I'm doing an intentionally, evil run, which I'm not at this point. Invaluable. I have a room prepared for you below deck. No need. You'll find me in the forecastle with the dogs. She leaves. Hope I'm not making a mistake, Shaw. 14 available dogs. Requests are finished. Now that that's all settled, I have one more errand for you to run. Could you grab the Stoke brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair, couldn't miss them for another. Do you require me for this meeting? No, this isn't a matter the first officer need concern themselves with. They'll be down in the middle deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. Alright. Already something going on. Join the figure balancing up above. Upon closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasha Belford, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera, lining up a photo. Yell at her, get down or you'll kill yourself. How's the view up there? Wait for her to finish. Don't want to alert anyone when they're up top. Don't want to spook them. Snapping a shot, she clambers down, only noticing you on her landing. Oh, Officer Shaw. It's about time I met the first officer of this ship. Kasha Belford. What have you already? Nice to meet you, Kasha. Seem to know my name, how so? I do my research. I suppose there was some sort of rule against what I was doing up there. Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you just cannot pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasha Belford won the Fentler Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. Her accomplishments outweigh her youth. Her proof is all we have. She's not prepared for this. Inexperience is a matter of interest, but her accolades speak for themselves. The cold game. Pixel that as a header. What? Sounds fine to me. I like it. Let her continue. Sounds fine to me. I like it. For the piece in this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. Nobody will read it if the title sounds like the work of an amateur. That sounds like every single one of my YouTube titles, because I can never get it well. I swear, I just can't. The cold game. Picture that as a header. Kasha places a finger to her chin, squinting her eye in thought. It's not perfect, but it's a work in progress. Plenty of time, we haven't even hit the ice yet. It's just all so exciting already. Colonial. I suppose someone of your experience finds it boring at this point. Trip to the ice may seem dull compared to the Royal Admiralty. You know who I am. You have that right. I'm not averse to thrills. Well, I hope we have sun coming this way. Hoping to capture something right out of Kurt Darling's old escapades. That reminds me, he'll be joining us at the next port. I should get his picture at some point. Kasha holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to her face. Stand still, Shaw. Please warn me before doing that. Captain sent me to grab a copy of the manifest. How long do they take to develop? Let's take a bit of an interest. Why not? How long do they take to develop? Only a day or two. Made a makeshift darkroom in the hold. Oopsie. Pardon me. Speaking of photographs, she hands you an annotated document. Oh. Here it is, the crew manifest. So this will show us all of our sailors, scouts when they arrive. We have engineers we've yet to meet, scientists we've yet to meet, specialists, special team, resources we've yet to unlock, and key items. Accordion, Grimley's accordion. Weathered instrument tuned with care. Camera, cautious camera, integral to report and the crew manifest. Specialists. Rufus Hunt, Captain, Ice Savvy, Mutwash. Richard Templeton, Science Officer, Landboard. Robin Shaw, whose face is unnamed, that's us. Saltborn Colonial, so we could see that what we chose earlier on already matters, it's in the manifest even. Kasha Belford, Photographer, Landborn. We can make out some of what we met already. Timmy the Runt Ward, Sailor, Stowaway, Saltborn. Joseph Joe Gren, Sailor, Ice Savvy. Emilia Corvid Sparrow, Sailor, Ice Savvy. Killian Smurf Sanders, Sailor, Ice Savvy. It's a work in progress. Scout team are to join us at the next port, and captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. I don't want to leave anyone out. Do something like the stunt and you'll be removed again. I'll see what I can do. Thank you, Kasha. Thank you, Kasha. She smiles. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers, anyhow. Safe shots, officer. Don't worry. You leave her to her work. Okay, good. I've heard there's potential even for characters to die, like, very early on, so... I hope that doesn't happen. You spot a large man with a youthful gait, carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with relative ease. Oh, you're Officer Shaw. Gives a bright, warming smile. 2 Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname later. 2 Johns attempts to offer an handshake but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Maybe later. Work awaits. John added to the manifest. So we'll take a look at the manifest after we meet more of the crew. Forecastle is still locked. You can hear Kennelmaster preparing the room inside. Below deck. That's a bit of a stronger, pan than outside. I like that also out here you can faintly hear the accordion, and you go down and it was slightly stronger. That's very good use of sound. Approach the accordionist, approach the cook. One of the crew, a red-headed man with a thick beard, sits proud playing on an ivory accordion. He spots you, ceases his playing. Need something? I was just looking for the Stoke brothers. Emergency? Let's see. Just a meeting with Hunt. You're speaking to one of them. Grimley Stoke. We'll head up after dinner. You can go now. Man gestures to the cook across the room before resuming his playing. To the cook. Oh, I can't click on him. Anything else? No. Call the crew for dinner. That's all we can do. The crew have their meal. Passes in relative silence. Crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. Hello? Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But you're lucky Hunt didn't throw you overboard. I've a mind to do that myself. Come on, Da. Here to help. Better know that involves work. Don't expect special treatment. I won't. You're an impossible child, Timmy. +1 crew. Doug Ward added to the manifest. Mr. Gloss. You spot one of Templeton's science team pacing around the mid-deck, searching through some luggage that has been pulled from a cabin.
Let me look in the light. Where was it now?
He notices you.
Ah, Officer Shaw, correct. Dwight Glossley. Apologies, I seem to have misplaced something while settling in the cabin. A bottle of wine, actually.
Turn up to mist. You best not be drinking on the job. Perhaps one of the sailors took it. Can't be hard to miss. Turn up eventually.
I would hope so. My wife and I brought a bottle to celebrate with. To be saved for the journey back, of course. Well, if you find it, please let her know.
Dwight Glossley. Alright. Enter your cabin. Open your journal. Okay, so this just lets me see everything that I add onto the journal. Okay, only way is up. Something with Templeton and something up here. Anything in the cabin? Door to Hunt's cabin is shut tight. He himself is turned in for the evening. The ocean. As you look over the railings of the ocean, a wisp of smoke flies past your face. You turn to examine and spot a sailor with a pipe in his mouth and a sheet of paper in his hand, overlooking the stirring waters. Smoking sailor. Looking at something? Who are you? Not many sailors can read or write. What's the letter? I want to be tobacco dependent. Not many sailors can read or write. What's the letter? A letter. All you need to know. Tashi. After introducing himself, Tashi falls silent and begins to read the letter. Trying to draw a conversation from him may be similar to extracting teeth. Vern Sheridan, added to the manifest. Templeton. You spot Templeton looking out into the sunset. As you approach, he turns to you and nods. Ah, Officer Shaw. It will be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution towards the southern pole is quite the change. Noticed you were at dinner. You weren't at dinner with the others. I prefer to eat in solitude. I have my own cabin, and I make use of it. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflection of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There is great expectation upon us, officer. From who? Who's this benefactor of ours? That is not for you to know. Not yet. Templeton looks down, catching his reflection in the ocean's surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight, but I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We should retire for the evening. It's important the first officer be well rested. Use E to advance to the next week. That is week 1 done. So we have to hold it and then I let go. Okay. Normal rations, normal fuel. This alone consumes 50 rations and 50 fuel. 2 per person. Half cuts decorum in either case. Let's just go about it normally for now. Because if I remember right, they teach us about restocking anyway. Ship makes its last port at Orca Island. Cordell's sledding dogs are picked up. The scouting crew and Kurt Darling are picked up. The days get brighter as you move further south. Week 2. 2 weeks on the Temperance. Save game to tree. Oh yeah, I'll show that after. There's a rap on your cabin door. Come in. The door swings open to reveal Kurt Darling, all but filling its frame, grinning ear to ear. Okay, this guy, the voice I picked from last time killed my voice, but I'm going to try again. I'm very sorry, I have a quick phone call. Right, I am back. Very sorry for that, but I am going to go be seeing my folks in like 2.5 hours ish, and they have some nice food for me, so yay. That'll be fun. Okay, back to it then. Okay, as I was saying, this guy's voice. Yeah, why not? I'll try for the same one. There you are, Officer Shaw. Ship's navigator is a difficult man to miss. Stature and reputation precede him. Adorned with a slew of apparatus, the seemingly one-man expedition would be known to anyone following the heyday of exploration and the merchandising that followed. It's an honor. Really, a wealth of invaluable experience in such hostile environments. A wonder he's not been swept up to some other post. Hiding away from the rest of us, are you? How is this early to rise? These days I tend to enjoy good lying, but not during an expedition. You know what they say, early birds and worms. Apologies for not stopping by sooner, Shaw. It took a while to set up my team, and a great deal of the crew were quite eager to meet you. Were quite eager to meet me. I'm a celebrity. It's not often they work with a film star, is it? Certainly. Completely understandable on their part. There aren't many who've seen my film. There aren't many who haven't seen my films, particularly in this line of work. More than one fellow on his crew said my work inspired them to explore the world. Quite the honor, is it not? His crew doesn't seem the film-going type. Well, yes, most were born on the sea to begin with, but it is good to know that even those old films can inspire. I suppose I did get distracted, didn't I? Anyway, I was hoping you'd join me up deck. Of course, but why? We finally entered the pack. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself. I'll be right behind you. Kurt turns to walk away before turning back. Oh, and enjoy your morning. It's a good day, Shaw. He leaves. Kurt Darling added to the manifest. He leaves. Okay, this is where I will show you that this game actually has multiple branching paths, and you can go back to it at any single point. You can see actually already, in week 1 alone, there's already a different path. Or maybe this is my new run. No, this might be the old run that I did in the beta, and this is the new run. So you can see that the paths change, like, and even further ahead they keep changing. I'm not going to hover over it more, but they go for a while. I believe, if I recall, there was, what did he say, like 7 or 8, or there's multiple endings and some 40-odd achievements. There's endings where you could be dead in a few weeks to everyone survives, so it's all quite interesting, really. I enjoy seeing that kind of narrative. I don't know if I personally will be playing this game on repeat multiple times, but at least the first playthrough I plan to do fully on here. Let's back out. So we have a few new names since we've seen the manifest. Tashi Sheridan, Sailor Saltborn. 2 Johns John, Sailor Saltborn. No scouts, no engineers. 1 scientist, Dwight Mr. Glossley, scientist Landborn. Grimly Stoke, who's a specialist. Carpenter Saltborn. And then Kurt Darling, navigator, Hobbled. Is that just old? Ice Savvy. Nothing else is new. Pen should all be the same. Hello? You note one of the science team returning to the room. Ah, Mrs. Gloss. Did you have a good rest? She nods to you. Ah, hello. I did not expect many to be up this early. Harriet Glossley. I believe I met your husband. Ah, yes. Dwight made mention of your encounter. He's still fast asleep. He's adjusted to the ship well. I believed a walk around the ship would help me acclimate myself to the waves. Perhaps it will take more time. With that, Miss Gloss makes her way back to the cabin. Science team aren't used to the sea or the sailor folk. Quite a culture clash, isn't it? Well, I'm sure they'll grow used to him over time. This one's just my room. Across doctor's office. The door to the doctor's office remains locked. Seems a good doctor isn't in. Or perhaps enjoying his sleep. You've yet to come across the ship's doctor, even after all this time. Many of the crew are still fast asleep laying in hammocks. Best not disturb them, Shaw. You don't want to find yourself abruptly dealing with a working sailor. Let's head up the deck. Sound of snoring is rather obnoxious. Nothing going on here. The helm. At the stern, you notice an older sailor at the helm. The old man takes in a deep breath in the cold air before letting out a satisfied exhale. Morning. Good morning to you. He eyes you up. Officer Shaw, all right? Lefty. Called me on account of, well, should be quite obvious. Chuckles. Don't worry about the bad sight. This is all fail. Just keeping her steady. He examines you. Surprised Hunt picked up from outside for his first mate. Surprised as well. Seems the insular type. Sure you unqualified for the role? Would you prefer the role? You seem to have the experience. Surprised as well. He seems the insular type. He is. Must be something special for Hunt to look outside the ranks. Colonial. Doesn't have much fondness for the military, but at least means you got the work ethic. Mornings like these are about the only peace I get from the younger lot. You should take these moments when you can. Lefty returns his attention to the helm. As you get older, I suppose you'll learn to value the quiet moments, eh? Let's hope we're just as diligent when we're old and grey. Myself before ye, of course. Harold Turner added to the manifest. No one's up top. Can't enter the forecastle. Join Kurt at the bow. You join Kurt at the bow of the ship. You both feel the temperance break the floes below you. Gripping the rail, he draws an enormous breath. The footing beneath rises as the ship mounts an impending ice floe. There's a moment of hesitation before a profound crack relieves the ship, cascading across the ice. He exhales. It's all very poetic in the descriptions. See? Nothing else like it. You weren't wrong. It's something alright. Look at the ice. No two cracks are the same. All caused by us. By the laws of nature, this place once is dead. And yet, here we are. Traversing in harmony. How fantastic is that? How far are we from land? Assuming you've seen everything. A younger me would have agreed with you. It's an interesting mix. Nostalgia and the never-ending new. Indeed. How far are we from land? We're about a week's sail from the last known location of the old Viscount. Assuming she ain't exactly where she left her, but we can't take smooth sailing for granted. Same goes for the Staylight. It won't remain this bright for so long once winter encroaches. Beautiful as she is on the ice. Beautiful as the ice is, on this course it's going to get thicker. Looks out across the white. We won't be so confident when the leads dry up and we're stuck here till the next cycle. We need to change course. Avoid the pack. Have you informed Captain Hunt? He won't listen to me. Thinks I've been dulled by retirement. I've probably seen more ice than he is whiskey. We have enough supplies if it comes to it. I'll hear no more of this. It's not my decision. It's not my decision. Yes, but you have the captain's ear. You ever experienced the long night winter? Not pleasant, to say the least. If it comes to it, we'll adapt. Ha! I see why he hired you. You should understand, Robin. We're only as good as the unhappiest man. I'll do what I can. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. He nods and turns back to look across the ice. Take requests. Ah, sure. Ready for another day of work. Oh, I just used the wrong voice already. Whoopsie. Did you hear Kurt's advice? He wants us to switch course. Aye, he had a few words to share. He might have been an expert in his time, but these days Kurt is one with more money than sense. Anyway, back to work. I was hoping you'd help me work through a few more requests from the crew. You may have noticed the line pulling up outside. Everyone wants something, it seems. Call them in, as you please. We have 3 requests. Hammond. A short, sour-faced man in engineer clothing approaches. Ye acting daft, Hunt? Not with intention. Not bloody surprised you didn't notice. Shaw, this is our chief engineer, Clive Hammond. An opinionated one. What is it, Hammond? We've hit the ice and you haven't assigned any extra men on the boiler. You have your engineering team. And we only got 6 arms between us. I need more manpower maintaining this. Sailors. Many of the crew have their own tasks they're busy with. I know I've already assigned Smurf on a matter. Captain turns to you. So Smurf's already involved in something. How many do you think is fair? 1? 3? More. Open the crew manifest to choose how many sailors you wish to assign. I haven't met all the crew yet. We need people working the boiler. Some choices require you to assign manifest. In this choice you may choose an amount. I'd rather have as many people working as much as possible. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands available, and we have at least 2 more requests. I don't want to inquire sailors, and I think from this we can only, scientists, and I think we can only do sailors here. Let's get 2 Johns. The runt. I feel like anytime I'm gonna put anything for this guy, because he just said that we have to worry about. He has 6 arms. He got an uneven lot now, but why not? And we'll have Yosef. Let's have 4. Let's make him happy. You take 2 Johns, Runstar, and Joe. Give me Ward. Oh, he noticed it. Ward with 1 bloody arm. Young Runt could use someone to teach him on the job. Who better than his father? Don't get me started on handing over the bloody stowaway. Would you rather none? Engineer holds his tongue. Fine. You could tell me how right I was when we were buried under the ice. He leaves. I like that they had something special for both the son and the one-armed guy. Good spirit, that one, beneath the oil and the temper. You won't be seeing much of him, though. He prefers to bury himself in the boiler room. Kasha.
Captain Shaw. A thought occurred to me the other day while looking through the crew manifest, and, well, it might be late for me now that we've already entered the ice.
Out with it.
Thought it would be good to have the individual photos of the full crew.
For your report.
Not only for my report, but it would be good reference for the manifest to put faces to names.
Much of the crew's already served me for years, some decades. I have no problem putting faces to names. You thought, sure.
It seems a good idea. If nothing else would make for a good souvenir. Waste of time, we should brace for the ice, not posing.
It's a bit late, but now or never, may as well get over with. It'd make for a good souvenir. Some in love this expedition, are you? Some proper photographs will have some historical weight to it. Well, Belford, I see no problem there. Arrange for the pictures to be taken for the crew for their dinner.
Thank you, Captain Shaw. In the meantime, I'll attempt to get as many individual crew photos as I can. You're still welcome to have help on the matter, Officer Shaw.
She departs satisfied. Corvid. Corvid enters the office.
Hunt, you asked for a report on how the stowaway was doing.
I want to see the young boy's been settled in well.
Has indeed. Means another mouth to feed, but the boy works hard, doesn't ask much. Has his dog to guide him as well.
So the boy's father is ecstatic.
Worried sick, but happy, aye.
Well, what do you know, Shaw? Perhaps we were right to keep the boy aboard. Finish your quests. Good to have that settled then. Perhaps we shouldn't rule out old Kurt so easily. The man thinks they could be an alternate path through the ice. He's free to search for it. Shaw, meet with him when you have time. Changing course or not, we'll want one of his scouts set up in the crow's nests. Take care of that, then you'll be done for the day. I have to be careful because all the voices, I wouldn't say take a toll on me, but I sort of feel it. New stuff all around. Let's go all the way down. We'll deal with everything else later. Pumps, nothing wrong. Hooded sailor. You spot a suspicious-looking sailor from the pantry. Hooded sailor spots you, keeping their hands firmly in their pockets. Now what it looks like, Officer Shaw.
Black, but call me Gnomes.
Not thieving anything. Take you at your word. Hadn't considered that, but now I still get explanation. I'll take you at your word. Ah, expected you to interrogate me more.
No worries. I was just setting up a practical joke.
Ah, well, best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Not at your expense, if that's your concern. Have to get some enjoyment around here, don't you think? With the mysterious trap set, Gnome scurries off to the upper decks to return to work. Skylar Pleck added to the manifest.
Oh, you must be Shaw. Seems you met my brother already. You're in Stoke, but nobody calls me that. On this ship, I'm just known as Junior.
Seem more personable than your brother. Take you to the cook then. Junior, why the name?
To be obvious, you met my brother. It's the burden that comes with being the younger. Hey, Shaw, can you grab some tins from the pantry? Nearly time for dinner.
The moment you enter the pantry, a bag of flour drops on your head, scattering all over your officer's uniform.
How's with that? Gnomes!
You wipe the flour off you before continuing. Well, looks like we did have it at our expense. One crate of tin from the shelves.
What'll it be this week, Shaw? Feed the hoosh.
Increases food or changing the status. Sealed sustenance prepared by the Apperton Tinning Company. Only gives us 20 of the 50 that we burned.
Feed the hoosh!
Nothing else to say? Crew need fed for the week. Can we go back? Okay, no more tens. Call the crew for dinner. Let's go back up. There was still more stuff. You overhear two of the newly arrived scouting crew talking.
Ah, Quilsey. Any trouble settling in?
Not too bad. Can't wait for a chance to sleep, though.
Proper navigator never rests until their work's done.
Of course. Tell you had no issue settling in.
Not at all. Crew are a funny lot. Old Kurt suddenly caught their attention. Ha! You think any of them would mistake Kurt and myself?
I think you'd collapse from joy if they did.
Perhaps.
Yorick Moore and Hadrian Quill added to the manifest. The rigging. While examining the rigging of the ship, your eye notices a figure darting by, climbing up the ropes with ease. Figure lands on her feet before dusting herself off. The outfit denotes one of Kirk's scouting crew.
Ah, no problems. She looks to you. And you are?
Officer Shaw, yourself?
Flick, one of Kurt's crew. Don't worry about my safety. I know what I'm doing. Trust me. Kurt doesn't just hire anyone. Well, he didn't hire me for no reason anyway. Got the medals in gymnastics if you're worried about my credentials.
Flick jumps up and returns to scaling the rigging of the ship. Soren Killiper added to manifest. Speak to... Oh, what's going on here? Approach the sick young man. Seasick.
You spot a youthful-looking man leaning over the side of the ship, his head slumped as he looks to the icy pool below. It appears he's been visited by a spot of seasickness. Leave the man to his illness. Are you okay? Pat him on the back. Are you okay? You speak out, and the sickly man doesn't answer. He raises his head, turns to spot you, his eyes widening in shock as he does. A bespectacled young man shaking with ease. Stares at you for a brief moment, look of shame plastered upon his face. Sorry. No. I'm already using that for glossly. Sorry. No, sorry. Sorry. I cannot have a voice. There's so many voices in this game already, and there's still more, I'm sure. Are you alright? Yes. Well, no, not really. I'm very sorry. Man turns around and runs hurriedly in the opposite direction, avoiding your gaze. Arthur Nutley added to the manifest. If I remember right, he's the doctor. And I know that if he goes, pretty much everything goes very south. Hand me up there. I'll get you a reading. Scientist eyes the man's cane and turns to you. I believe the navigator means you to send one of his scouts. Navigator clears his throat and taps his cane. Of course. If you find one of mine, they'll get us a reading, rightly. So we go back up to the nest. Kiliper was already up there. Scout Eye Savvy Islander. Scout Eye Savvy Islander. Scout Eye Savvy Islander. They ascend to the nest and take a reading with the sextant. All clear from the top. Okay, so we have a little bit of a map going on. Let's try and zoom out. Viscount Island. Last known location of the Viscount, your destination. Orca Island. The last port you made where you picked up Kurt and the scouting team from. Return. Nothing else up there. Nothing else with Kurt. I think it's dinner time. Nothing else to do. Call the crew for dinner. Crew have their meal. Shall we toast to the ice? Aye. The days get longer, but dinner's fixed. It'll see us through the long days and the darkest nights. I could go for dinner, and it's only 4 o'clock. Crew return to their post. Hammocks are unfurled. You can't help but notice that it's still bright outside. Listen in. You notice 2 sailors passing by the dinner table. An inebriated sailor on wobbling legs, leaning on shoulder of another. Oh god, there's still more. Good times, good times. Need to learn to handle your drink, Tucker. But I'm fine. Me mates can carry me. Hey, Cavity? They can also drop you. Have 2 Johns carry you next time. Oh. You sleep. Shit. Shit! Rafe Zoom, and who was the other one? Where were you, Mr. Smoke? Nope. Tolson Tucker Higgs, Sailor Saltborn, and Ref Cavity Zoom was a Sailor Saltborn as well. Is that all the crew? Wait. Okay, that's all of the sailors. We have all the scouts. I haven't met the 2 engineers, and we're missing 1 scientist. I cannot descend lower right now. There's a door here. You knock on the door. No response. Still no response. You can hear the sound of rustling inside. After knocking on the door several times, finally swings open to reveal one of Templeton's silence team. Annoyed scientist. Yes. Do you require my presence? That sounds too, like, evil. Genius. Evil scientist. Do you require my presence? No. I can't think of a good voice for this one. I'll just do, like, Do you require my present? No. What do you need? You require my presence. Acquainting myself with the crew. Who are you? You should know. I'm the meteorologist of the expedition. Andre Isaac. If I'm not required for anything, I would ask not to be disturbed any further. Alright. So it's like very clearly we're already setting up with some characters that just are like either introverted or they aren't getting all too familiar with me right off the bat. Or they're not choosing to be familiar with me, so. You overhear two engineers chatting above deck. Okay. Rather, you overhear one engineer speaking with another. I don't know how... This guy just looks like Nigel Thornberry. It's clearly just the stash and the hair color. I don't know how the chief could stand there all evening. How did Nigel do? It's the smashing. There. I can't. I don't know how the chief could stand there all evening. Dick. You ever seen Mr. Hammond eat? I haven't. Maybe he doesn't even eat. Man's not even human if he can work all day and night on that boiler. Probably doesn't sleep either. Probably sleeps. Aye, Dick, figurative. Right. Rick Flogs and Gareth Forsetter added to the manifest. Forecastle. Ah. Approach the dogs. Ingrid Cordell added to the manifest. You got an achievement. First encounters. Which I'm not able to see. Also, when I shift tab, it opens the key items menu. I'll look at it later on. The dogs regard her with apt attention as she paces between them, bowl in hand. The largest joins her side as you approach. Try some. Trying the soup. Why not? Nearly burn your mouth on the hot broth. Surprisingly tasty. It's surprisingly palatable. You feel yourself warming up. You seem to enjoy it. I'm afraid there's only so much. If you want more, it'll be among the dog's leftovers. Penguin. Some blubber, fats and proteins. Fastest way to hydrate them. Was there something you needed? Just inspecting the animals. Why are you here? Where do they come from? Where do they come from? Hard to tell the exact breeds at this point. They belong here more than we do. Unlike us, they need the ice. Cools them through their paws as they run. They'd overheat otherwise. Strong creatures. Very. They handle stress differently, adapt quickly. There's plenty to be learned from them. You love these animals? They need me. And you'll need them. You ruffle its head. It tries to lick the broth from your fingers. Oh. Oh, that's a bad zoom. Anything else needed? Captain has turned in for the evening. I think we're good. Another week done. I think this goes up to some 30 weeks or so, but if I remember correctly, at some point it like does 2 weeks or like even 3 weeks at a time if stuff starts getting serious. Why all that fuel? I know it's going to be decorum cut, but I already want to save a little, considering that we didn't get to restock both of these this time around. So play it safe. Days grow even brighter. Temperance has finally entered the thick ice leads. I don't think it'll be fine to have decorum at 100, but there are emergency situations, if I remember, that are going to tackle or like take a lot of decorum. You still want to keep it high, but I wouldn't say having it 100 is mandatory. At least, I don't know. This is all my experience from a demo that I played a year ago. Week 3. 3 weeks on the Temperance. We have 4 crew headers returned to us. Go to the lower deck. Pantry, nothing we can do there. Pumps, nothing going on there. And still can't go below deck. Only ways up. Saved game to tree.
That sounds a little ominous already. It's like majestic ominous, though. How far can we see? That is beautiful, though. You know? There's not all too much animation, but it's very... It's, I want to say impactful when you see it. Or, like, subtly impactful. Like, look, the ice isn't even cracking, and then it's just a huge swath. It's good attention to detail. Forecastle, we can't talk to Corda, but we can pet all the dogs. You nod knowingly at it. You bark back at it. You rub its chin. You rub its belly. That's cute. Just requests. Captain Hunt appears to be absent. His chair's unoccupied. That ain't good. The whole room shudders. Oh. I guess there was ominous music. What in the... Well, I was worried about this. Look at that ice. We could be trapped here for a while. Strong pressures, as if we didn't have enough bother. Well, no need mucking around. Let's get to work. Where's Hunt? I'll grab him. I'm sure he felt it too. Shaw, check the boiler room. Sure the mole man has problems of his own. The mole man. Not to worry, everyone. We'll be free moving again before you know it. Back to work. We already broke in the middle of the ice. I think... No. There was a button where I could see... Yes, Q and E. So you can see how the ice flows are affected each week. You can also see, like, how dark versus light it is. The direction the crew will be going in. The temperature. It's all very nice attention to detail. Let me go back up top. Of Shaw, it would appear we stopped. Curious. Hunt was warned of this pathway, was he not? Even I could see the risks, and he's an experienced sailor, and he carried on. Wonder what goes through that man's head. Officer Shaw, what happened? Ship's come to a stop. I almost flung my camera into the wall. We didn't hit anything, did we? We're trapped in some ice. We need to break loose to get moving again. Well, let's hope it best sooner rather than later. Trapped in the ice, so it'd make for a good photograph. And she scurried off. Can I go warn her? Not to do anything? No. Go down to the low deck. Ship's stuck then. You're looking for Hunt, you just missed him. Ow, we didn't cross paths. Don't ask me. I'm gonna check with my brother. Coal bunker. Let's get 1 sack of coal. You lift a sack of briquettes. To the boiler room. Approach the two men. Aye. If I'd made errors, I'd tell you. It's secure, don't you worry. They notice you. Impressive machine, the spoiler. Am I interrupting? Sure you're aware of the situation. What's happening? I'm ensuring that the boiler was not damaged in the sudden commotion. I told you if it was, you'd already know. I'm not in the business of making mistakes. I know that if the furnace goes down, we go down with it. Yes, but you're only one man, with just a pair of engineers and assistants. Just looking at the number of valves, it seems too much for you to handle. Maybe your bloody benefactor should have considered that. I've gotten used to it by now. It'll hold, trust me. I will. Well, I'll have to, won't I? I don't fancy staying on the ship any longer than necessary. It's imperative we break free from the ice as quick as possible. Hammond eyes you, a grimace on his face. First mate's here, but where's the one who got us in this bloody mess? A difficult one to find. Indeed he is. I have a suspicion as to where he may be now. We're on a ship, and an unmoving one at that. Man can't simply disappear. If he's anywhere, he must be in his cabin. When you find the man, give him an earful on my behalf. Can't do it myself, too busy keeping us alive. He is a nod. I believe you and I will both give the good captain a visit to Shaw, but you should call the crew for dinner first. Routine's important, especially now. Not before we fed the furnace. Mind grabbing me some coal from the bunker, Shaw. You afraid of dirty hands like Mr. Templeton over there? Huh. I already got one. Keep her lit, Captain. Ask engineers to raise the heat. Cures the crew of freezing. I don't think anyone's freezing yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Throw one into the hoosh. I'll be able to go get more for now, though. No, there isn't. So again, we're probably going to have to go just one tomorrow. You emerge mid-deck to find the crew readying themselves for dinner, despite the ice. Some seem nervous, others as if nothing's changed at all. You lift a a crate of tins from the shelf. Let's make use of the kitchen while we can. Feed the hoosh. Nothing else to feed with. I love the accordion theme. The crew have had their meal. Dinner is shared. Crew return to their posts, hammocks unfurled and prep for the evening. You can't help but notice it's still bright outside. You didn't see him either. He didn't pass by, but his cabin door was locked when I checked. Slippery bastard. What are you thinking, Hunt? Can we go back down and assess the boiler? No one's here. Okay. I hope I don't have an issue early. No sign of Hunt, I take it. Mr. Templeton passed by, but he wasn't exactly willing to take questions. No one else to speak to. People are down on the ice. That would suck if, like, half the crew just gets left behind randomly. It is thinning, though. It is beginning to creak. One would think Hunt would be taking action at a time like this. Instead, the man squirreled himself in his office. An odd one. Pet the pupper. Pet this pupper. You gotta pet them all. It's mandatory, necessary, 100% non-optional dialogue. Keep it up, lads. We'll see ourselves right in no time. Ah, Shaw. I just saw Templeton entering the captain's cabin. Seems Hunt holed himself up inside. Maybe if you had a word with our good captain, he'd be willing to lend a hand. Gee, I wonder where he is. He was informed he was here. Could he have hidden himself? Maybe he's gone overboard. He glares at you. Not a time to be making jokes, Shaw. Ah! Captain's laugh rings out from behind the door. Captain watches you both, head swaying as he chuckles to himself. You're a surprisingly difficult man to get a hold of, Hunt, seeing that this is your ship. I know it well. Hunt's eyes turn to you. I believe you two are already acquainted. How long have you been drinking? I don't suppose you care to join. Hunt shakes his hip flask as he holds it out, whiskey sloshing and spilling from the top. That one of you, Shaw. Can't tempt you with some sweet nectar? I'm fine. You'll be more than fine with drinking you. Ah, well, your loss. You intend to offer drinks at a time like this? The ship, your ship, is trapped in the ice. It's my ship now, is it? What do you expect me to do? Get the shovels out. You could have heeded Kurt's warning. Ah, Kurt. You still hanging on his word? You would have some luck relying on that old lout. He's a man chasing a spotlight, nothing more. There's no safe passage here. This was always going to happen. Mr. Hunt, Captain, if you are not fit to stand, then you should retire for the night. Shaw will stand in your stead and we can continue in the morning. And abandon my duty? No, Captain Westbrook, that is a fit captain, wouldn't you agree? Well, not you, Shaw. Isn't that right? What do you think makes for a good leader? Sobriety for a start. Making the difficult choice. Choices no one wants to make. Being able to do the job. Sobriety for a start. Sips out his drink. But I'm serious, Shaw. To you, what makes a good leader? We don't have time for... In a word, then, what makes a leader? Understanding, control, willpower. Understanding. Understanding? Explain. Ability to adapt to your crew, to understand what the individual needs that makes up the whole. To understand what needs to be done, to know your next course of action. To understand your limitations, to know what you're capable of. To understand what needs to be done, to know the next course of action. And that's something you can know, is it? Perhaps you'd like to step above deck, look over the bow. Nothing but ice surrounds you. You can't see 5 meters from your face through all the mist. Do you know the next course of action there? Speaking in platitudes does no good. A good leader is something more than a single rule you are set to follow. When you see what you just know. You've wasted enough time being philosophical. Oh, my apologies. I'll ask the real questions. Shaw, look at where we are. Do you honestly think we're going to survive this? I'll put us some bravado. No doubt we will. Well, I suppose someone has to carry faith with them. Captain laughs. Shaw. Nobody knows we're out here. That doesn't leave this room. Sorry, one moment. Sorry. Work-related text, that's all. Doesn't leave this room. Oh no, we wouldn't want to upset your employer. Our benefactor. We all want to be paid after this, don't we? Enough! If you weren't fit to lead this expedition, you should not have agreed to it. You shouldn't be... None of us should be here. Old Kirk paid handsomely to join you, just a botanist sent to keep an eye on me, and a doctor. Ha! And then there's me. What of you? Hunt laughs to himself, his head dropping low. Templeton opens the door. The captain needs his rest. We'll discuss this once he's of sound mind. Let him speak. I want to know more. It's all right, Robin. Go on now, Shaw. I'll be all right here. Captain appears to have fallen asleep. Oh, jeez. No one's back down. Okay. Captain Hunt needs to sleep. It would appear the presence of command has greatly affected him. The pressures of command. You should find some rest yourself. Crew have their commands. Clear your head. We'll continue on the morn. Anything else to be done? Doesn't seem that way. Week 3 complete. We're already stranded. -17 crew. You awake to a room washed with green. There's a loud banging on your door and a familiar voice speaks behind the wood. Shaw! You in there? Shaw! Why is everything green? Are we sinking? What was that noise? Pressures! The boiler's in serious trouble. Pump needs man and we need to stop the whole system overheating. I don't need to tell you if the furnace goes, we go. Where's Hunt? Is he aware? Can't find him. Came to you. I need some authority to take action. Now bloody give it to me. Okay, lead the way, Hammond. Right, let's move. We need to find the captain. Now. So I think actually in my previous one, this happened earlier on, so I don't know if this bodes well for me. Kasha rushes up, holding her camera as tight as the ship rumbles. What's happening? What are we going under? Not if we can help it. Out of the way. It's safe to go up top, right? That Aurora. It's a shot I can't miss. She steps back before taking a photograph of the ensuing chaos. Uh-oh. Lights of the Aurora flicker over the pale ice. Animals are barking furiously as the green has invaded their territory. Calm, Stanberry. What's happening to the ship? Nothing I can't fix, don't fret. Then I shan't stop you, Mr. Hammond. You seen the captain? I've been resigned to this room and I'll have to stay as much. Lest you wish to add in the frightened kennel to your current problems. Nothing. Visibly perturbed, he takes a moment to compose himself. Even the tub is empty. Why'd you expect him to be in the tub? Not important. This doesn't make sense. The man seemed barely fit to crawl himself into bed earlier. What? Ah. Hammond turns to you. Alright, Shaw. Captain's missing. You're in charge. I'll try my best. Your best. Yes, indeed. Crew are no doubt waking at this moment. They're no doubt scared, confused. It's your duty to keep them calm, to maintain order. Hammond glares at Templeton. It's Shaw's job to get down to the boiler room. Now! We already wasted enough time looking for that bastard. If you storm down to that room, all you'll be doing is inciting panic. We need to calm the fears of the crew, maintain an air of focus. Allowing them as a ship goes down? Not at all. Instead, ensure we know how to remedy this matter. You do know how to remedy this matter, Mr. Hammond. Aye, and we're going to be quick. I don't have time to worry about a sailor's feelings. We got a bloody ship to save. Well, it's as you said. Officer Shaw's in charge. Decision is yours. Boiler. Save it as much as we can. Boiler won't wait for us. Fine. I'll keep the crew at bay then. Oh, don't worry about him. Let's go. This is getting real eerie, real fast. More of the crew notice you and Hammond descending below. The ship whispers begin. Decorum down. Soon the crew picks up pace, walking directionless with hurried footsteps. Kurt approaches. Boiler trouble, I take it? I'll lend a hand. Not when you're walking with that cane, you ain't. I have enough strength to go tell the crew to hit lower decks. As many as possible. Let's go, Shaw. Time to save the blasted ship. You descend the ladder. Ahead you can see the brothers trying to open the door to the hold. Trying to get in. Same. Door's stuck. Pull harder, bastards. We need in there. Can you help us? Metal door on sticks. Grimly looks to you before darting off into the dark. Where's that bloody idiot running off to? To sound the alarm! Bloody house! Let's get moving. You enter the boiler room. You have one available crew. As you enter, Hammond's engineering team are hard at work. The larger of the two engineers loses grip of their valve as steam begins to shoot out, causing Hammond to dash forward. Watch it! Hammond tackles the engineer to the ground, saving him from a nasty steam burn. Ah, mate, just in time. What's the word, Chief? Keep those valves pumping. We need to avoid a water hammer or we won't be able to make it off the ship. Shaw, the rest of the crew aren't here. Grab a valve, start turning. You grab a valve and begin to turn, trying all you can to keep the water at bay. Pump! You feel the ache in your muscles as you continue to push the valve, keeping the pressure at bay. Oh, shit. Furnace rumbles and sputters, hemorrhaging fuel. You keep turning, doing the best you can to keep the pressure at bay. We'll be at this for hours. Shit! Where's the rest of the crew? Bro, help. Fuel rumbles and sputters. Get me Cole! Turn those valves! Set summon people on the valves first. 2 Johns. They grab the valve. Cavity. With enough hands working on the boiler, you begin to fight back the potential water hammer. Someone's gonna have to hold the furnace in place. Tucker. Tucker approaches the furnaces. The room shakes. Water hammer! Fuck. A jet of steam paints Higgs. It subsides as they writhe in agony. Ow. When they gain a severe side effect as wounded, scurvy, or frostbite, the crew becomes invalid and unable to work. You keep up the work, shifting the valves till the boiler is fully calm. The ship is saved, you won't be sinking today. As the crew gives assistance to the wounded Higgs, you feel your muscles tense. You fall back, collapsing from exhaustion. As you lay back, all you hear are a pair of panicked voices. Where the hell's Hunt? He's gone. We have no fuel. And we need to keep low on rations. Temperance is safe from sinking. The Aurora passes, leaving only the bright, light, and white. I'm already out of fuel. I should have picked some up. Is that going to screw me over and I need to start that section over? Nope. +10 crew, save game to tree. You are alone in the captain's cabin. Out across deck can be heard the commotion of the crew. Words quickly spread that Hunt is missing. Templeton slips in through the door. Shaw, what is it, Templeton? Don't they called in? Still no sight of Hunt. I'm afraid not. Hunt is still missing. Rufus Hunt is missing. And he isn't alone in that regard. Max crew decreased. Sanders, Sparrow, Gren are also unaccounted for. Killian Sanders missing. Amelia Sparrow missing. Joseph Gren missing. As is a sizable food and fuel supply and one of the larger lifeboats. Shaw, you and I are not naive. It seems quite clear what's happened. How's the rest of the crew? They're confused, scared. The former captain is no longer with us. You understand what that means? And be Captain Shaw now, I take it. Not quite yet. A new captain must be selected by the crew. As first mate, you have the most clear argument to take that role. And how do I argue for that role? Your presence in the face of Hunt's absence is an argument in itself. They will hold a vote as soon as possible. Matt Carpenter, grimly. He's still loyal to Hunt, and many of the sailors will follow his vote, if not all. Though I can assure you, you have the vote of myself and my scientists. Kurt and his crew are like to support you as well. I'm unsure where the engineers will side. They are likely loyal to their pay. Higgs is still recovering from their steam burn, which may end up working to our favor. And the civilians are a mystery. But I believe, when all is said and done, you will just about make the vote. You've clearly given this a lot of thought. Of course, it is vital to remain aware of the crew's intention. They are waiting outside, Shaw. They're scared. They don't know where to turn. You and I both understand the importance of maintaining decorum. Though time seems dire, remember, there is a rescue ship on its way. Even if the Temperance falls, we still have a potential escape. 35 weeks. This ship will arrive at Viscount Island in 35 weeks from now. We should focus on surviving that long. That is all we need do, Captain. How can we be certain a rescue will come? I can assure it. Our benefactor will ensure it. Another 35 weeks, Captain. Keep it in mind. Here, you shall have this. Templeton presents you with a fancy-looking hat, Hunt's hat. He left it behind in his cabin. It tells us what we need, does it? I'll take it. Commotion outside grows. I choose to willfully observe reality. I suggest you do the same, Captain. The scientist refrains for a moment. What is it? I think it's best we declare that the captain and the missing crew are dead. There's no need for us to complicate things any further. I will lie to them, Templeton. Leaders lie. Get used to it. Crew are waiting for you on deck. I could have sworn this would have happened a week or two earlier. I'm actually a little nervous now because that means I have less time to get resources, and we need coal. Last place you saw Captain Hunt. There are still drops of whiskey, frozen. That says something when alcohol freezes. Hunt's ledger is gone. And I cannot go below. There's still a crack, so maybe it could break free. I don't know. Address the crew. The hushed voices become more distinct as you make your way out into the open air. You notice the absence of Higgs. Where's the doctor? Also downstairs. The crew members notice you and stop. Their attention ripples across the deck. Attention! It should be clear by now that Captain Hunt is no longer serving his post. As such, we should vote in the new captain. I nominate Officer Shaw for the role, the clear choice as first mate. And what of Hunt? I do not see him among us. Do you? In fact, I would argue that this is rather quite suspicious. Don't see a body either. He's still out there. We don't know what happened. Something we can discover, but for now, someone has to take the reins of command. All in favor of Officer Shaw. Start voting. Higgs abstains because he's wounded. Templeton with me, as are his scientists. The doctor with me. Kurt and his crew with me. Grimly loyal to Hunt, as are some of the sailors. More sailors. Clive abstains, or Hammond abstains. Bordell abstains. And Kashtami. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I was friendly with her. By one vote. You've been confirmed as the captain of the expedition. I wonder if I wasn't if the game just ends right there. Well, the ayes have it. Shaw shall be acting as captain from this point forward. acting in Captain Hunt's stead. Crowd looks to you expectantly as Templeton gives you a knowing nod. Moment passes in the cold as they await your next words. Curious murmurings beginning between the crew. To those who don't know me, I'm Robin Shaw. As they look to you, it's not long before the obvious question spills from a crew member's mouth. Where's Captain Hunt? It's unclear at the moment. Templeton yells, Captain Hunt's dead. Crowd immediately cuts to silence. They look to Templeton, some back to you after. He's not dead, he abandoned us. Deserter took 3 crew and one of our lifeboats with him. -5 loyalty with him. Do we have any bodies, Mr. Templeton? Lost Templeton's loyalty already. No. The silence hangs in the air. I know you're all scared. To be honest, I'm scared too. Crowd bubbles up more with more and more questions coming to the surface. Members of the crew begin to speak up one by one, with questions thrown your way in quick succession. How are we supposed to survive out here? Is help coming? Without pay, who's we still be paid? Our immediate priority is to wait it out until either we're freed from the pack or help arrives. I know this isn't what we signed up for. Stick with me and I'll see us through. Why the lost captain? Oh, why the lost captain? A memorial service will be held once the ship is freed from the ice. Understood. Well, you are the captain. Get to it. Crowd dissipates, returning to their roles aboard the ship. You pass Templeton. He glares at you. I told you, I will not lie to them. If we can't be honest with each other, what chance do we have? I hope you're right. He looks up at your new hat. Suits you. Okay. I believe that is the turning point, though. Like at this point, resource management becomes much more severe. Speaking of, let us go and pick up some stuff. Can we assign more? Can we get more tins? Yes, we can. Okay. I want at least 3 people handling food. Because what I remember from the beta, I did not credit food and especially oil as much. So I ended up actually, I think, losing later on. No, I don't want to confirm these. Let's have... Oh, that... Okay. Alright, that's a little weird. Son, father, and... Plek. Can ensure that we get food. We'll feed the hoosh in a little bit. This is Kasha's room. Get 1 sack. We need as much as possible. 2 Johns, lefty, cavity. That leaves us with Tashi for something left over if need be. Captain, now are you? As long as ye are in my way where Hunt was, I'm happy. How's the boiler keeping? Well, we aren't dying. That's a relief. Don't know how well the furnace will hold. It'll keep her going as long as ye aren't distracting me. She needs fuel for the week. So we can throw food if we need to. But we really need to at least put 3 of these immediately. Hopefully we can get more later on. Let's go up top. I'll deal with the food in a moment. Pump flood water out of the ship. Cures the crew from freezing. Okay, so I can assign other people. So let's get... Each assigned member will instantly cure a random member of freezing. So we don't have anyone freezing, but I'm going to assume this is something I sort of want to keep under control. So just one crew member can handle that. I actually don't even quite remember freezing being a mechanic in the beta. Captain's cabin, I assume that'll be where I handle... Yeah, one more time. For good luck. Shaw! Or should I say Captain Shaw? That Hunt. He didn't seem the type to just leave crew behind. Still, no good dwelling. I've confidence you'll take the mantle well. Do you have any experience handling the expeditions? I never captain a vessel, if that's what you mean. But the navigator is just as much his responsibility to lead. In that case, in that sense, I have plenty. There should be no hesitation, Shaw. You are the captain now, and you must carry that authority instantly. It's best we carry out the daily routine as normal and see that you are capable in the role. We should take the day's requests immediately before seeing to our resources. Oops, delayed on that. We have 8 members that can help. You saw the duties of the captain firsthand while serving Hunt. You are acting captain now. It's time you take up that mantle. A line's already forming at the door. No surprise given the circumstances. Take him as you may, Captain. Kurt and Cordell. Captain, I've brought the kennel master with me. Something you will both want to hear. I have a strong suspicion on what the matter is. I was planning to speak with the captain on it myself. Fortunate happenstance, then. Captain, I know these conditions well. I've seen them before. Any idea of the Temperance being freed of the ice anytime soon is a pipe dream. We need to press on. We need to be aware of our new environment. Trust me, Captain, we will be living off it for quite some time. And what of you, Cordell? Do you agree? Indeed. The dog sleds will be need to exercise regularly, and there's no better way than to engage in hunting. We're quite lucky, despite the circumstances. Now's the peak time for hunting and navigation. And navigation? Traversing the ice may be a possibility in the future. We need to be prepared for that. And if we're to survive out here, we need to know what lies ahead. These are uncharted territories, Captain. We've no idea where we are. Your current rations are not set to last forever either. Send any hunting party to me as you please. My dogs and I will ensure their survival. Cordell exits. The same sentiment for myself and any scouting teams. If you wish the great unknowns to be braved and charted, I'm your man. We need to know what lies ahead. Keep looking forward. Saving that boiler was only the start of our troubles. You seen the state of this bloody ship? Certainly seen better days. She's bleeding in the lower decks. I believe the older Stoke is attempting to rectify that. We need to stockpile as much fuel as we can. If the fuel runs out by the end of the week, we die. If we spend too long in the ship, we die. If we don't stockpile enough fuel for the winter, we die. Aye. Get me coal. Get in the furnace. I'm afraid he's not wrong. That coal bunker's our only source of fuel for the time being. Until we procure alternatives, we must assign crew to shoveling whenever possible. Sure. The ice looks some budging, doesn't it? Would seem that way, yes. Crew seems to think so. They think if we don't intervene, the Temperance will never get freed. If you're suggesting breaking the ice, I can assure you it won't work. I'm not. They are. No intervention is going to break the ice up to free this ship. Putting others to work, that is simply a waste of manpower. Aye, maybe. They're scared though, worried. They just want to feel they're trying something. If they raise the spirits, it's worth the attempt. We're already at 55 decorum. We need 3 to 5 people. This guy's pessimistic. We can have him work on it. We cannot have any specialists. Quilzy and Tashi. 3 crew, you can go. Junior gets some loyalty. Hammond loses some, but he's already being a sourpuss anyway. We get some decorum back. Agreed. I'll see you for dinner, Catelyn. Don't forget Fahoosh pot needs fed. Before dinner, you should see about sending our first sledding team. I also believe it's time you gave our doctor a visit. We still have wounded from that night of the Aurora. The wounds will need attended before we fit for work. And I doubt I need to remind you of this, but this needs every hand available. Don't be afraid of assigning team for my manual labor. They'll complain, but they will work. Okay. I will leave you for a moment with the ambulance. I just quickly need some sugar in me. This will just be a... All right, we're back. Very sorry for that, but I suppose that's what happens when you go light on lunch and your sugar has issues. So, just made sure I had a little quick snack. Wanted to be safe. Got some water. And should be feeling fine in a few minutes. Sorry about that. Let's continue. If I can find my mouse anyway. There it is. That's the one thing I will say about this game. The white mouse on the white background can be very rough to track sometimes. Listen in. We got 2 listens. Callum's here from the Pale Beyond team, checking on us, saying thanks for streaming. Hey, no problem. I'm glad to be able to stream at this point. Yeah, honestly, it's been a blast so far. I enjoyed playing this on the beta, and actually, unbeknownst to the stream, I was also testing this game. This is the first time I've said that on stream, but I did test. It was pretty much just a beta tester. And it was very nice. It was a very nice experience, and I've loved the game so far. I am very happy to be able to be playing at long last. So, thank you very much for making such a wonderful game with a lot of meaningful choice and dialogue. Honesty. And if should there be another game in the run, I'm always happy to help on that as well with testing and enjoying with streaming and whatnot. You did seem familiar. I finally placed you. Flick. You have you? Yes, I remember seeing you compete. Soren Kiliper, you were quite the gymnast. I'm surprised to see you in this line of work. Not many gymnasts carry long careers. You did quite well when I saw you at the Summer Games. I recall you placed. I don't recall winning. Cannot do female voices. I apologize. I can't believe Captain Hunt's gone. What's happened? Cavity. Who knows? He was drunk. Whatever he was thinking, he definitely wasn't in right mind. And what about Smurf and Corvid and Joe? Who knows? Corvid owes me 5 gilst. I don't think he'll be seeing it soon. Pet the dogs, as is mandatory, and I will stress that every time. You must. Down below we go. Grips. Oh, this is the smashing. Robin Shaw, recognise that name somewhere. Royal Admiralty, right? Did you serve? Yes, I did. And we served on some of the same ships. You probably wouldn't have seen me there. Didn't get much time at the engineering room. Good to know the new captain has some experience. That's good. I haven't gone that one because I was I think in the beta I did demo I did a mud wash. Doctor, you enter these ships' infirmary. Your presence seems to startle the young man inside, the rattle of dropped forceps ringing through the room. Oh, goodness, it's you. Captain, now, isn't it? Robin Shaw, it's good to meet you. Dr. Arthur. Nutley. Dr. Nutley. Dr. Arthur Nutley, that's right. It's good to meet you, Arthur. Nutley gives a weak smile. Thank you. It's good to properly meet you. I suppose I seem a little scatterbrained at the moment. It isn't the norm. Recent circumstances have been trying. And the inclination towards seasickness is no help. Higgs. The steam burns they suffered from the furnace are severe. If you let me take a look, I could do my best to alleviate their pain. And nothing more you can do. I'm trying, but I wish there was, but there's no cure for these kinds of injuries. Afraid this is the extent. At this point, all we do is wait.
Captain Hunt, do you think he might still be out there?
There's a chance, however slim.
Right. Perhaps we'll run into him again. No, that's ridiculous. Never mind. Apologies. I'm rambling. I suppose you want an update on the crew.
Have you had time to look at them?
Time enough. Mostly scrapes and scuffs. As for the dogs, you're better asking. Um, well, the kennel master.
You mean Cordell?
Yes, Cordell. I haven't taken well to the dogs. I'm unsure how to carry myself amongst most people, and animals are, well, more quick to judge. And Cordell is self-harsh still. But you can rely on me for human medical issues. Ellie pauses for a moment. Is everything good? I mean, is someone coming to rescue us?
I won't lie, we're in a difficult situation here. I'm going to need your help. Ah, phew. Got it back.
Then you can count on my help.
Nutley keeps his head low.
Is there anything I could do for the crew?
Medical comforts to instantly cure all crew in the med bay. Ask scientists to cook up medical comforts. Let's first start out with the med bay. He is wounded. We need to help him out. Assign 3 to instantly gain 1 medical. Oh, but I screwed up already. Okay, so I cannot. Next week maybe. If time allows. That was actually quite nice for Cowlin to join for a moment. I really appreciate that.
Oh, feed the hoosh. That's right.
We got... We'll set it to 3 and keep an eye on our decorum next week. I want to keep as high as we can for the time being.
Officer, Captain Shaw. I suppose I should get used to calling you that. I was asking the crew if anyone had seen Hunt or any of the deserters last night, but not a single soul. I know the man knows the ship well, but that seems odd.
Suppose you weren't expecting a situation like this as a civilian.
People don't tend to assign one to others onto the expeditions for the good of their health. I researched the Pale Passage. I knew there's a risk of this. So there's no use in worrying about it now. Worrying never did anyone any good.
I can see her instanced here, but I already did everything for the coal and whatnot. Suppose all that's left is just crew. Still haven't set out a sledding team from the map. Okay, good. I like that there's a reminder. I did forget about that. Sledding team from the map. If we have to plot north towards the island, let's go north. It takes 3 dogs and 1 crew. We've discovered penguins. I don't know what else we really have, and we can't use all the scientists. Let's have the other scout finish up here. I want to try making as much use of the resources we can. Observe the effects of the summer melt. I don't recall this. Oil resources for animals? And this is only scientists. I'll send him out to get the penguin. Those also take one. Mrs. Gloss is marked down where to hunt for the week. We've used all of our scouts, and we still have 2 individuals remaining. And this will finish the last of the dogs as well. Okay. Oh, not that button. Back here. We have made use of every single person this week. Let us eat. The crew have their meal. Ah, shall we give a toast to our new captain? Air here. Oh, those Moore. Nice. Crew turn to posts, hammocks unfurled, la-di-li-da-li-da. It is bright and light outside. Junior. Evening, Shaw. Part of what I've been able to cook for the crew lately, considering the rations. I do wish I had something better to work with. Kill for a good beef steak. You do excellent work, Junior. You have a knack for this. I've been told. Hunt would say he couldn't eat a bite what wasn't prepared by me anymore. Should hit the hay, or well, a hammock. Guess there's hay in there. Ugh. You need me for something. Served with fun for some time. Let me know about him. Oof. None of your business. Ouch. Stares at you before nodding to his hammock. So tired. You'll get used to it, lad. It's far too much work. Oh, you wanted to work. If I can do it with one arm, you can do it. You're always saying that, You're a tall one, aren't you? Oh, thank you for noticing. Been this big since I was 15. You ever consider doing films? You statue for it. Oh, I can't act. Acting isn't part of it. You stand there, cut a nice silhouette, you'd be a star. That sounds awfully easy, doesn't it? Can be. Okay. I can't talk to Tashi. I think in my demo run I burnt Tashi, so that was an oops. Ooh, I don't have anyone for you, Kasha. I was growing used to sleeping on the moving ship before we became trapped in the ice, you know. Now I won't be able to have a good night's sleep till we return to land. And that's something we'll all look forward to. Good motivation, then. I know hot bath and warm bed are the first order of business when we return to land. I may stay bundled up for several days to truly savor it. Need to finish developing these. Thanks for stopping by, though. Okay, so I didn't need to do anything there. Any other people talk to? Like cold, isn't it, Captain? Don't know how you spend your time away from the furnace. It'd be even colder without your work, Hammond. I know. Anything else to discuss? It told me to go up, and then it's telling me... Oh, never mind. Awfully loud, aren't they? I don't mind it all that much. They've worked all day. They owe their leisure. Those sailors ought to remember, we all need our sleep. Kurt's room. Evening, Shaw. Cold one, isn't it? Used to think I was growing used to the cold. As the years are gone, elements only growing harsher on the body. I imagine it's harsher area than you ever faced. You'd be surprised, Captain. I ought to tell you a few bad scrapes in my time. Another time indeed. Templeton's room. Good evening, Captain. It'll be some time before we see rescue. Perhaps you should be endearing yourself to your crew. I'd like to learn more of you. No. Cannot get on this man's good side. I'd prefer to continue with our work. Fostering personal relationships is not a concern. Must retire for the evening. I'll see you for the morning's requests. Captain Shaw, I presume you're here to see the dogs? I was checking on you. You're not with the rest of the crew. Of course I'm not. Do you often expect others to leave their post? I understand you did not expect this role, but you are the captain regardless. Surely you understand a sense of duty. Captain Shaw, you recall my conditions with Hunt, do you not? It was yesterday. My demand was that I work here, with the dogs. Your people may help with the sleds, but they are not my responsibility. They are not my people. I am holding up my promise with Hunt. I do not intend to join your crew. That dog, does it have a name? This is Stanberry. If I get lost in the ice, you're the next Captain Stanberry. Cordell smiles, confused. Hey, loyalty. The animal looks at you. Give Stanberry the captain's hat. You plant the hat on their head. They become excited. Oh. Stanberry. Uh-oh. I'll pet everyone else. Bad Stanberry. Redo? Could I redo that? Uh-oh. Week 4 done. One crew member becomes malnourished. This is about where I wanted. I don't know how long it'll take for Higgs to be cured. And I don't want to put someone else in the med bay just yet, so I guess we'll keep it normal for now. But if we can half the fuel rationing, fine by me. +1 research, +2 penguins, all crews back. The ship holds, but barely. Oh! Higgs was already cured. Okay. I could have gone with starving them then. But decorum's at half, I guess. We have 2 penguins. 2 weeks at Temperance Camp. All dogs are back. My dogs are growing restless. They had grown used to the stirring of the waves against the ship. Now the sudden stillness has them unnerved. They seem to be temperamental. Ah, no more temperamental than ourselves, Captain. I want Cordell to be good. I want to be on her good side. I keep hurting this. Got 4 orders, starting with Junior. Shaw, Templeton, we're back from the attempts of freeing the ship. Is such a report necessary? Well, as you can see, we're not moving. Crew kept at it for a week, but we're calling it a day. Waste of time and resources then, as expected. I wouldn't be so sure. At the end of the day, at least now the crew can say they tried and gave it their all. There's something in that. Good day, Captain. Well, as good can be in the circumstances. Good day to you as well, Kasha. Well, I'll be sure to spare you any more obligatory small talk from here. In truth, there's something I've been meaning to ask of you. It's a matter I brought up with Captain Hunt, though he was less receptive. I'm not merely interested in the story of the expedition, I'm interested in the story of the people of this expedition.
When the crew have downtime, I would request that I be allowed to conduct interviews with them. I'd like to know more about them, maybe learn more about what happened on.
I see no issue. Conduct as you please.
Thank you, Captain. You won't regret it. I'll mark anything useful I discover in the crew manifest. Send him to the Red Room on the lower deck when you can.
Word around the cruise that we might end up having to move to the ice. We can't free the Temperance anyway. Would be wise to gather what we want to take off ship with us if we do. Indeed. We'll need to prepare for what could be the inevitable. Aye. Most of the tools are in the lower deck storerooms. The doors need some work to open, but it's worth inside.
Captain Shaw, Mr. Templeton. It would appear that some of the crew have taken an interest in the transmission radios we have on hand.
It's likely many of their first time seeing this technology.
And they have odd issues of what they're capable of. They believe another ship may pick us up if we monitor them.
Ridiculous. They do not have the range to pick up another, not out here.
I said as much, but Mr. Turner was adamant we at least spend the night monitoring them regardless. He even sent me to run the concept by you.
It's worth the attempt even just to assure the crew. Oh, we need all of them? Okay, I guess no meta room for this, but this will get us back up on decorum. Okay. More dislike. Okay, but we got some back with Grimly. I'm fine having Mr. Fuddy Duddy be a little upset with us.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah, it will work. But at least this way the crew will be certain. Oh, we have one demoralized. Each with a demoralization status will cause you to lose 5 decorum at the end of the week. Kasha can cure demoralization by interviewing. Okay, perfect. So this works out. You'll be our... Oh, we can't have you be the first one, though. Otherwise, they'll ponder the alternative till we're all frozen. Ouch. That sucks. The question persists as to how long the Temperance can hold. Will we be able to wait out the ice? If there's no change by next week, abandoning the ship may be considered. Ah, feel that air. Nothing better than a cold wind to keep you awake. You're no Duck York the Third. How many hours of sleep you get a night?
Well, aye.
Second thought, better not hearing it. Or you know it isn't enough. Anything else from you, Cordell? No. Let's set all these out before we do sledding. Anything is mandatory. So scientists cannot do anything. So nothing is needed. We have all of our crew safe and accounted for. Floodwater is fine. We don't need to worry about it. We get our 1 standard tin. I want at least 3 individuals in on this again. As much as we can. Crew need fed for the week. Feed the hoosh. Adelie penguins. Adele penguins. Smaller, faster, and exceptionally curious. A small source of blubber. You can throw them into the furnace for fuel, or you can get more hoosh. This is going to be harsh on pets, I can already tell. With all the dogs, I get worried. Let's put 2 tins. And I think this leaves us with 3, so we're starting to build up some of that resource. And we want as much as we can. View Kasha's photo library. I don't remember that. Yeah, we can't send the one demoralized guy. Oh, these are nice. I didn't see these weren't in the demo. I wonder if these are inspired, because the whole game is inspired from an actually true tale. So I wonder if these are based off of photos of that as well. Oh. I'll assign a crew if there's just people left over. Coal is our next priority. We have 2 people left over. That gives us 4 briquettes. We only have 2 engineers though. Okay, we don't have to worry about freezing though. Yeah. Keep it high. And then we have, let's see. Food hold, weapons hold, engineers hold, tools hold, science hold. Let's go get tools first. 1 person needs to break the door. Flogs. You and Dick charge into the room. It's full of various tools in a crate of tinned lemons. With the water flooding in from behind, you have time to... Water's flooding in? Med tools. Doctor should be able to see more than 1 patient at a time with this. These should make quick works against pressure ridges and thick snow when hunting and scouting. With these tools, the furnace may be better maintained, improving efficiency. 4 supplies of tin lemons, each used to cure of scurvy. I'm torn between the med tools and the engineering tools. Because I think later on we will have more people sick. Whereas engineering tools, keeping that, if getting... This can, like, save us early on. This can, like, cause the furnace not to be as nearly as taxed. I'm going to go for the engineering tools. Plus 20 fuel, max fuel increase to 120. There's enough time to grab 1 more item. Oh, wow. Med tools. Rescue the doctor's equipment. The room is flooded, rendering the rest of the items useless. So the bottom's just flooded. Kasha's room is fine. Food hold. I'll save Tashi for the weapons. You and Lefty charge into the room. It is full of food and ale. With the water flooding in from behind, you have time to grab 1 item. Do we really? Come on, they're already stacked. Tinned rations. A large unopened casket of 4 tin African rations, worth a total of 80. Ale kegs. 3 kegs of ale. Each can be used to cure demoralization. 4 tinned rations. These are completely usable. I'm just saying. Room is flooded, rendering the rest of the items useless. Coal is fine though, yeah. Weapons hold, science hold, engineers hold. Weapons. You and Tashi charge into the room. Inside you see supplies of tinned lemons, a hunting shotgun, a bolt-action rifle, and flares. You have time to grab 2 items. The lemons for scurvy. An old-fashioned double-barreled buckshot rifle, slow and cumbersome to load. Bolt-action rifle with poorly aligned sights, ineffective against smaller targets. Bright light and heat without an explosion. For alerting humans and alarming wildlife. Can be carefully disassembled for fuel. Ineffective against smaller targets. Let's do the bolt. And amping out ammunition. There's time to grab 1 more item. The flares because we can spook animals or we can turn it into fuel. You get 2 flares. Room is flooded, rendering the rest of the items useless. We have 4 crew available, so I want to do some scouting. Let's go east. Seal. Northeast. Research a pressure ridge, but we don't have any scientists available. Ta-ta-ta-ta. And you. Sardines? Okay. I will keep these for now, and we can pick those up next week. I think that'll be the way to go about it. We don't have enough animals anyway. We have one more person. Engineers or science hold. Let's go engineers. You and Grips charge into the room full of special tools and equipment. With the water flooding behind you, you have time to grab 2 items. Digging tools. Engineering tools. Apperton crates. And ale kegs. The food sounds tempting, but I think we're going to have enough to be stocked. At least for now, we're already building up some up. I think we have like 7 resources in all for food already. Yeah, we have 7 of those. And we're going to be picking up stuff off the ice. Let's go for the ale kegs, because I feel like demoralization will be a big thing later on. Oh, enough time. Okay, perfect. Ooh. I don't think that the digging is going to be the most necessary thing, but maybe if it's to get to better resources. I'm just going to choose food. I'm going to be absolutely safe. And we don't have anyone to take a look at the science hold. The crew have their meal. Dinner is shared. Crew return to their posts, hammocks unfurled. Despite the time, it's still bright light. Hey, evening. Before we took off, Grimly and I stopped into a greasy spoon in the city. Sausage and eggs was perfect, best I ever had. Now I'm trying to remember its damn name. It's left my head. I didn't take you for the sort to enjoy the city. Just the food, Shaw. People, well, not all of them are bad. Fair enough. Yeah, as far as rations go, this is good. Junior sure knows how to prep dinner, doesn't he? It's too good for a ship like this. It's getting harder to play. Cold makes the fingers stiff. Try playing closer to the furnace. Oh, the same. Besides, I'm gonna just throw the accordion in. So he's probably like... I would say like he and Templeton are probably the hardest to like keep happy. At least for the way I'm playing right now. You're pretty old, aren't you? Good eye, lad. Better than mine. Are you still working? Should be home with your family. Don't have one. Do you not have any children? I might do. I don't know any though. Tell the kid that. Tucker, more of the same tonight. We'll get used to it. Not much you can do with the ice. We'll figure out something to do, won't we? We'll have to. I have absolutely no one I can assist right now. Templeton? Captain, if you find yourself stricken with boredom, I do have a book I would recommend. A textbook on a different class of wildflowers. The topic is more interesting than it may seem, I assure you. I would enjoy that, Templeton. I'll be sure to bring it up to you when I have the chance then. Evening, Shaw. I've been thinking about our pay once we return to land lately. Don't mistake me for the avaricious sort, but I do have expenses to pay. You see, before we departed, I received a letter from one of my daughters, asking to cover the cost of her stage school. Would be a shame to promise a luxury only to retract it, don't you think? I wasn't aware you had a daughter, Kurt. Two, in fact. Both with the first wife. I'm flattered, but I really ought to be getting rest, Shaw.
Anything? Afraid not. I didn't expect anything to become of it. Well, at least we could say we tried.
Templeton is back up. Kurt's back up. At the bow, you spot Kurt measuring for any changes in the temperature. Still fast, no signs of change. He notices you and gives a wave. I doubt we'll be moving any time soon, Captain. Of course, sometimes you never know with the ice. You should get rest. I'll let you know if anything changes. See that you get rest yourself. I will. But we have to be alert. In my experience, changes come fast. Take care, Captain. Captain, a word. I feel now is a good time as any to review the wording in our contracts. You do remember what was written in your contract? Of course I do. Consider Article 3, and I quote, "The member of the staff shall throughout the period of such expedition obey all commands of the captain, and shall use his best endeavours to promote the success of the same. And in the event of anything happening to the captain, shall obey all commands of any member of the staff who shall be appointed by the captain in writing before his death. It being understood that the rest of the staff shall hold to the same relations that any member of the staff so appointed as towards the captain was appointed by the captain in writing before his death." What are you trying to say? The vote we held settled what is only a temporary arrangement in the eyes of the law. Even then, you only made it by a hair. Unless you somehow managed to wrestle a written transfer of captaincy from Hunt before his departure, in the eyes of the law, you are simply acting in his stead, with no legal recourse to call upon. There is a chance Hunt and the deserters are still out there. Should we be reunited, your captaincy will indeed be called into question. Why are you so invested in this? I am invested in the survival of this mission and providing appropriate guidance. You may presume an ulterior motive, but you know my reasoning is sound. The loyalty of the crew means everything. Give them on your side, Shaw. Keep them on your side. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Remember my words, Shaw. I suggest you start with the Stoke brothers. It seems they speak for many of the sailors. We will keep that in mind. Scratch its head. Ruffle its fur. Pat its back. Do-si-do. Good evening, Captain Shaw. Will this take long? The dogs are fed and rested. However, I dislike leaving them alone. You've trained them well. That won't be an issue. That would be my hope, but you can never be certain. The dogs need their rest. As do I, as do you. Okay. We are ending week 5. Do I want to do... I'll do one more week, because this is getting about where I wanted it to end. We still can't skim on food rations because someone will starve. But I mean, we can use the med room for it. I don't mind having it, and then one person has it, and then that can be taken care of next week. The more I can conserve now, the better. I do want to be careful though with that demoralization, and I think the Mr. Glossley's demoralization will also hit it. You know what? Let's do one more week in full, and then half fuel rations. I don't want too big a hit on decorum because we're going to lose something now. Another week on the ice. The ship won't hold out much longer. Mr. Gloss is demoralized. You lose 5 decorum. The ship won't hold out much longer. Week 6. 3 weeks at Temperance Camp. Anything I can do for now? No one's frozen. Let's set up rounds. Let's have 2 people this time. I want to see if I can pick up stuff from the ice. Miss Kasha, if you could help with Mr. Glossley. Raises decorum, +1 research. Ah, look at him. Look at that happy gloss. Okay. Fuel. This will give us 3 sailors. Fuel is fine for the most part. She abandon the ship. No, I don't want to do that just yet. Let's at least get dailies done. Let's... I thought I put one in. There we go. We won't abandon just yet. Not till I talk to everyone, at least. Meeting. Stanbury! At ease. Templeton, Kurt, Cordell, and Hammond stand inside the beginnings of a meeting. Well, Captain, it's been 3 weeks. Kurt tells me there's still no change in the ice. None. And best I can estimate, what change we will see won't free the ship. I predict the Temperance is more likely to be crushed under the pressure of the ice. And how long will that take? A few weeks, at most. Unfortunately, we may have to look at alternatives rather than waiting for the ice to break up. Are you certain it's a lost cause? You never know, but from what I've seen, I wouldn't take the chance. Leaving the Temperance and making camp on the ice is something we will have to consider. Aye, the longer we stay on the ship, the more fuel we're having to burn. Not to mention risking another boiler incident. Yes, that matter almost cost lives. Heating a smaller camp burns through much less oil, and without enough fuel to survive a winter, we're dead. Don't think I need to tell you that. It would not be quite so quick to pack up and move out just yet. And why is that? The ship is shelter. The ship is safety. Currently, there are quite a few hunting opportunities presented to us. We need to gather more food if we are just 5, and the ship provides a safe area to hunt from. Right. And most of the crew aren't ready to give up either. They're stubborn, just as any good crew should be. I would rather not play into stubbornness when lives are on the line. He has a point. Crew thinks we gave it too early. They resent the captain for it. Though now we have a serious bloody flooding problem. We do.
Aye, you might have noticed you left your damn forecastle. Safer to take time to gather what we need before we leave, rather than raid the ship once we make ice.
Well, the answer lies with the captain. Should we move off the ship this week? One more week. Very well. When we remove the boiler from the furnace, that is when we make our move. When you feel we're ready to go, just go to the boiler room and give the order.
Captain, we tried to use the radios to pick up any signals every evening for the past week.
Nothing, I take it?
Afraid not.
As we expected.
I have to say, though, I expected a worse reaction from the sailors. I suppose there's a relief in trying a method and knowing it's to be unsuccessful. Now they can move on to the next venture with little reservation. They are resourceful people, I must say.
Well, I suppose anything that puts the crew's mind at ease is worth doing. Thank you, Mr. Glossley.
Captain, my dogs appear to be struggling in the on-deck kennels. They require a more secure form of shelter from the environment.
Dog loose, I believe they call.
I thought this was fake. I thought this was just like him having like a jab at humor. Because he's just not, even though he's not all too humorful, but no, it's real. That's the actual term. Yes, I require some hands to work on constructing them. It's for the health and safety of the pack.
I'll put some crew to work on it.
We must focus on keeping the dogs safe. Without them, the crew stands little chance of safety themselves.
That's damage when the ship's being tossed a while back, Captain. Best get someone to fix it before Temperance is freed. Freed. Aye, ship could come loose any moment. Heading up to repair the mast is dangerous. We don't know if the ship will sail if the ice clears. Could be worth doing, though. Just needs one person, okay. I'll get 2 Johns on it. I need 2 people? 2 Johns and... Flick. Gain Stokes' loyalty, there we go. Aye. I was summoned by Mr. Templeton. Yes, Mr. Isaac, this is regarding your personal item. What do you mean? I felt it pertinent to let the captain know you are carrying a weapon. Why did you bring a gun on the expedition, Isaac? Personal safety, of course. Perhaps this is my unfamiliarity with expeditions, but I was surprised others didn't bring an item to protect themselves. Many of the crew cannot afford such an item to themselves. Captain, it is up to you on what to do with this with the revolver. With all due respect, this is my personal item, Captain. It is the captain's right to requisition any weapons on the ship, that includes your own. That weapon will be more useful in the hands of Cordell for the hunts. Very well, Captain. Oh, that was with everyone. That's nice. And I get a revolver for it. I understand. Ah, never mind. I thought we were fine. We do well to avoid creating an imbalance of power among the crew. I doubt the sailors would take too kindly to such a thing. And grimly. Sure. There's a rumor going around amongst the crew, saying the ship's haunted by the ghosts of Captain Hunt. What a ridiculous tripe. I thought you'd want to put a stop to it. Minus 10 decorum. Ooh, this is a hard confirmation one. Do I let them continue along with making folk stuff? I feel like this bottom one is just gonna like upset them, so I'm not gonna do that. No, let's have some order. Good. Aye. Crew won't be pleased you're stopping their stories. Better than allowing fear and superstition to run wild. Aye. Answer the boiler when you wish to abandon ship. I suggest we do sooner rather than later. Dog loose. 3 people to build dog loose. I'm not too worried about scouting today. 1 scout, Mr. Zachary, and... I want to keep these 2 at least for meat. One of the engineers. Cordell shows the crew to how to assemble the snowy shelters. Okay. Let's get that seal. Yeah, let's have both get the seal. Let's get 3 seal, why not? Mrs. Gloss, Tashi, and Lefty are marked down to hunt for the week. Oof, I should have had 1 more, actually. Why did I do her? Oopsie poopsie. And then Quilsy. Just more fish, okay. That leaves us with 1 spare crew. But I think I've done all the assignments already. Oh, but I can go in that. I can. Actually, no, this works out really well because there's this 1 extra room. Science hold. You and Grips charge into the room. The wooden floor and furnishings have buckled enough to take apart easily. Wooden floors and furniture have buckled enough to take apart easily. You also spot cranes labeled as spare flags and luxury items. With the water flooding behind you, you have time to grab 1. Inspect the timber. Much of this room has become buckled by the ice, allowing it to be easily stripped for timber. Worth a total of 102 fuel. Flags from the Temperance are folded neatly inside. You also find a chessboard and a football. In total, they provide a 20 maximum decorum. I have the ale for decorum, so I don't feel too rushed in picking up more items for decorum, and we've been handling healthily enough. So let's go for the timber. Let's max out that hoosh. What happened with the hoosh? I had 7 and then it disappeared. Okay, no, thank God. These are spoiling. Soggy. We'll do 2 plus 1 spoiled. I feel so bad for this man. He cannot catch a break. I love Mr. Glossley, I do. But, he doesn't love me. The crew have their meal. Crew return to their posts, hammocks unfurled. I swear, when that hook came swinging, Captain Captain Hunk. Oh, that's gonna be some fan art. And I swear, when that hook came swinging, Captain Hunt had to pull me down. I was 5, 6 years ago. No clue what I was doing. Both of us nearly lost an eye that day. Same expedition, Ward lost his arm. At the time, I don't think Hunt knew what he was doing. Oh, At the time, I don't think Hunt knew he was doing either. I'm sure he did. He seemed a good captain. Aye, he is. Served us well, no doubt. Did you need something? I want to commend you both for keeping spirits high. Well, it's business as usual. Can still cook up a good meal. Nothing's changed there. Worry about the vote, aren't you? Oh, is that it, Shaw? I don't care about that. I'm genuinely checking in. Are you now? Alright, leave it at that, Grimly. I see you check in, Shaw, but I think it's time the crew called it a night. Grimly walks off. Crew is awfully fond of Hunt. Ace, a word to the wise, Robin. I've nothing against you, but we sure don't know you either. It's going to take more time than simple pleasantries to earn Grimly's trust. You're a pancake, Shaw. Okay. Serve some for Captain Hunt once, he started demanding him every time. Well, I have him in early into trip, though. Greetings don't last long. That was fun of your cooking, wasn't he? Hired me. Be odd if he wasn't. He didn't take me on his charity, Shaw. Hunt's not the type for that. I should hit the hay. Well, hammock. Guess there's hay in there. Miss the water. Got used to playing on a rocking ship. Started to feel sick when I'm off for too long. Miss myself. That sense of constant movement. Nothing else like it. Aye, you get it. Don't like stillness. Feel like I'm going somewhere. I like feeling like I'm going somewhere. And I don't suppose I can treat Kloss now. Oh, I can't even talk to him. Never mind. It's rather morbid, Shaw, but last conversation had me wondering about those children of mine. Specifically, I wondered on whether I'd see them again. It's not something you should imagine, I know, but that threat always exists on these expeditions. I signed on knowing that. Are you close with your children? Not at all. Not as close as I should be. Even the youngest has grown now, Shaw. My time to be a parent came and went, and I chose the ice. Templeton. Evening, Captain. You've been reading that textbook. I understand if you do not have the free time. I'll say I've been reading it. Good. I had hoped you would enjoy it. I suppose the topic does provide an escape from the ice as well. Few conversations, and then that's it, really. What do you have in your pocket? What does it matter to you? Hunched over, clutching something. Yeah, it's suspicious. Holding an egg. Egg? Why? Keep my hands warm. Boiled eggs keep heat. That is actually rather ingenious. We know the cold better than you lot, anyway. Huh. Still no signs, I take it. Oh, still no signs, I take it. Afraid not, Templeton. Ice is yet to budge. Moving to the ice looks more and more a necessity, as I see it. You may just be right, chum. No team of scouts best be keeping their focus if we cannot find a way from this pack to notice you. Ah, Captain. I wouldn't worry about the ice. My team will find a path, I've no doubt. At ease, Kurt, you're doing good work. Thank you, Captain. I promise my team won't grow lazy. Certainly not the place for it. Anything from you, Miss Bordell? Yes, you do. It was good to hear that Higgs recovered from the wounds. That incident with the boiler was rather dire. If nothing else, we can take solace in avoiding a life being lost. The building next to my kennels would often play music on a phonograph. I would hear it through the open window. For months on end, I would hear it as I worked. Over time, I'd grown used to it. I'm sure one of the crew brought a phonograph. Perhaps you could pick up the habit once more. That's not needed. I would not attempt to impose in such a way. Dogs need their rest, as do I, as do you. Pet the doggo. Good night, sir. Good night, you fella. And good night, you. Dog loos are all set. Everyone is set off. Everything is as high as can be. Just a few dogs, but I can't really take them sledding. I'm really worried because I think this was the point in the game last time where the ship just broke apart. But let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay. We already have one malnourished, and we can take care of 2 people if something happens. We're going to be at a little bit above half for morale. But, I mean, we do have ale. And fuel can be half just fine. Yes, nothing changes. Okay. Oh, but this takes us to 59. Oh, fingers crossed. We get seals. Crew is back. Another week on the ice. Naked in the wind. Mr. Gloss is no longer demoralized. Mr. Zack is demoralized. Mr. Gloss has scurvy. Gripes has become malnourished. So we have our 2 people that are going to need medical attention. Nothing has happened. Okay. We've lost 5 decorum. The game is saved. We're still holding. First things first. Med Bay. We need our scurvy man and... Hold on. Oh, I have to right click. I want to make sure. It is, yeah, it is scurvy. Okay, our 2 sick people will need the help. And I cannot have that med thing yet. There's been no time for it, unfortunately. Everyone's asleep. That is looking colder and colder. Miss Kasha. That leaves us with 1 scientist remaining for now. +1 research, 5 decorum. Ah, he got one to Kurt. Look at that. Okay. I think that is where we're going to leave it for now. It is getting a little close. Each of these weeks takes about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm genuinely surprised the ship has not collapsed yet. But I think it might be best to move off this week to prevent anything from happening. But we'll see for now. For now, though, that is where I'm going to be stopping stream for the night. Thank you to everyone who joined me. There were a lot of people early on. I really appreciated that. And I see some people have stuck around. We even got someone from the Pale Beyond team to just come in and say thank you for streaming the game. So that was just incredible. Really. Honestly, God. So plans are... I am going to continue streaming this. My goal right now is to stream... again, since I work back-to-back Monday... the next 2 days... I'm going to stream again, same time. The bunny's going nuts. I'm going to stream Thursday, 3 p.m., roughly the same time, if I can help it. I do want to play my first full run on Steam. So thank you for joining me for this very first segment. 7 weeks, and we have, I think they said 32 more weeks on the ice. So we'll see how all that lands. Little nervous as it is right now. We've been on the ship longer than I was in the beta, so that could be a good thing. And I think I'm handling the resources well, but we'll just have to see. All that said, I hope you guys have a great one.